Hey, what's up guys? I'm Justin from CBI and Prinsu. Today we're going to show you how to install our brand new Prinsu Pro Rack on this Chevy Colorado. Stay tuned. All right, so our first step is we're going to get everything unpacked, laid out, just make sure we have all of our parts and pieces, get everything sorted out. So we have all of our crossbars, wind deflector, noise reducing trim. This customer opted to do some color customization, so he has the white inner shield, and then we have our black outer shields, all of our hardware and mounting brackets back here. Okay, the next step is we're gonna dump out all of our hardware, get everything sorted. We're putting washers on the bolts, and then I have our Vibrotite that we're gonna put a little dab on all these bolts. Once we get that, then we'll go to the vehicle. All right, so now we're at the truck and we're gonna pop out this weather strip piece here. So I got a microfiber rag just so we don't scratch the vehicle. You can just use one of these plastic pries or a screwdriver and pry it straight up. There are some clips that secure this down, so we don't wanna break all those. So just be careful as you pry it up that you're being aware of where those clips are. Once we get this up, then we'll make a measurement on each side of the vehicle where our first hole is gonna be. We'll mark that and we'll get drilling. All right, so our measurement for our hole, our first hole on each side is gonna be 7 inches from the windshield. So we just wanna mark that in the center of this rain gutter here. So I did kind of a circle around where the spacer's gonna go, but you can ignore that. We're going 7 inches, like I said, from the windshield edge back, make a mark on both sides, and we'll drill this bad boy. All right, so we got our marks, now it's time to drill. A couple pro tips with drilling into this roof, and this roof is pretty difficult to drill into. It's really thick, and just the material it's made of, it's really hardened. So what we're gonna do is start out really small and incrementally work our way up to our final drilling size of 3/8 of an inch. I'm gonna be running the drill on the slower speed, and we're just gonna go nice and easy, take our time with this, and I have some cutting lubricant also. We use a little bit of this on the drill bit as well. You don't wanna pop too deep through the roof, so just be aware of that. Just go enough to get through the first layer, and that's all we need. All right, so my mic just died when I'm explaining this, so just disregard the silly things I'm doing with my hands right now. What I'm explaining is that we went ahead and drilled those front 2 holes. Now we're gonna get set up for the plus nut install. So we're gonna take the longer bolt, slide a washer on, then the hex coupler, slide another washer on, then we're gonna thread on the plus nut. You wanna make sure you get the plus nut snug up against that washer so it's nice and tight. And then the tools needed are a 1/2 inch wrench to hold the hex coupler and a 7/16 socket to tighten it down. We're gonna torque this guy to 20 inch-pounds and make sure to put a little bit of silicone, which you'll see in a minute, on this leading edge of the plus nut. So again, apologies, our mic is still dead and I didn't know it, but what's going on here is we're getting ready to assemble the rack to get it on the vehicle. And this customer has the white inner plates. Those are typically black, but this is just kind of a cool way to show that you can get those in a different color and what that looks like. Also, the mounting feet are labeled 1, 2, and 3, and the 1 is gonna be towards the front, 2 is gonna be in the middle, and 3 is gonna be in the back. They are not side specific, so you don't need to worry about that. Just make sure you start with 1 and end with 3. So now I'm gonna install 2 crossbars just to hold the rack together while we get it on the vehicle and make our measurements. Make sure you get your inner plate in there, start the bolts by hand, and don't over tighten or cross thread. right, so we got our Prinsu rack up here and in place. We went ahead and lined up our front 2 holes where we have the plus nut installed. And we're just gonna thread a bolt in each side just to kind of hold it in place. Now, we're gonna jump down, make sure our alignment looks good, and then we'll mark the rest of our holes, remove the rack, and we'll proceed to drill the rest of these holes. All right, now that we've finished up all the drilling, we're gonna go ahead and install the remaining plus nuts using the same process as the front 2. Because you can't call them fat. All right, so we have all of our plus nuts installed. Now we're gonna get the rest of our sealant in place and our rubber washers and spacers. So we're gonna take the rubber washer, place that over the plus nut, then the spacer, and we're gonna use a little bit of our RTV silicone to seal the inside of the spacer. We're gonna repeat that process all the way around and then set the rack in place. All right, so we have the rack in place. We went ahead and started all of our bolts. Now we're gonna go ahead and tighten them down. Just be careful not to over tighten them during this process. All right, so all the bolts are tightened down. Now we went ahead and slid in our remaining crossbars. If you're having a hard time with those, just loosen up the mounting feet, kind of let that side rail come out just a little bit, and then you'll be able to get that into place. Go ahead and start all the bolts by hand first, and then go around and tighten them all down. All right, so we went ahead and slid the trim piece up here, and we're just gonna mark on each side of the mounting foot on this trim piece where we need to cut. So do this on both sides, and then we'll get them cut. All right, so now we're gonna assemble our wind deflector and then get it installed on the vehicle. So we're gonna slide in these T-nuts. Just make sure you have the threaded side facing down. We're gonna slide 4 in this slot and 4 in this slot, and then put the wind deflector in place and get it started with these smaller bolts. All right, so we got the wind deflector in place, all of our crossbars are in, the bolts are still kind of loose, so we're just gonna make the rounds getting everything tightened up. You do have some adjustment here on the sides with the mounting feet. That's one of the advantages of this Pro Rack. So make sure you get a nice even gap right there and then tighten everything down. All right, guys, that sums up our install of this Chevy Colorado Prinsu Pro Rack. Hope you liked it. The rack turned out awesome. Definitely check out more B-roll shots of this rack and let it grow on you. Always like and subscribe to see more videos like this. Thanks, guys.